kill your bad habits, essentially annihilate the mind frame, the malware that has kept you in the doldrums. So, just so you could understand the frame of mind that I kind of took with me and ran away and applied to essentially every single thing that I was confronted with moving forward was what? It was the idea that there were no problems, only solutions. Okay, so I thought to myself, okay, how could I plug and chug this sort of idea, this sort of notion, this sort of adage into everyday life? And so I, for better or worse, I regret to say, was a weed head. I could not for the life of me stop smoking weed. And so for me, the transition was gradual because I was a little weenie. So I weaned off slowly. What I did was, all right, fine, I'm not going to smoke anymore. And so I started consuming edibles. I said, I need this for X, Y, Z, tons of excuses, right? And once I eventually waned off that completely, I realized that because I wanted to not have the craving any longer. I wanted to not feel like I needed that crutch to sort of get me going, because I would use it as a social lubricant the way people use alcohol. And I wanted to make sure I could separate myself fully from having that as something that I needed to accomplish whatever it is that I wanted to do socially. And I somehow, I had this like weird sort of epiphany. I had a conversation with that part of myself that thought that I needed it. And I found a way to sort of break up amicably. And literally the second that I had that conversation, it was like I felt like I would never ever need to even think about that ever again as something that I ever would want to consume or use in any form or fashion. And so that was something that I was able to kill indefinitely. Okay. The other one was laziness. I'm one of those people that I can just wait till tomorrow to do something. So what did I have to do? I had to remind myself, I'm going to die. And so is what I need to do, can that be done tomorrow if I'm not alive? And so I began to stack every sort of decision I made along that sort of spectrum. Was that if I had to wait, then the possibility was that I may never do it. And so with that in mind, come workouts, come tasks, come writing, come ideas, come everything. I was ready to do it all, even if I didn't want to, unwillingly if I had to. And so that was it. The other one that I think a lot of guys suffer with is the pixelated images of other people doing the things that you want to do. It was real simple. I had to, in order to stop, I was like, all right, fine, I'm going to stop. But how do I stop indefinitely? How do I make sure that I never have to do this again? So then I said to myself, what do I have to do? Like literally, I was like, what, give me a play-by-play shadow self of me. What should I do? And then I said, okay, I need to go outside. Okay, fine. What am I going to do outside? Am I going to frolic? Am I going to skip? Am I going to be a social ballerina? Like, what am I going to do? And then I thought to myself, all right, fine. I'm going to go outside and I'm going to go and get pussy. Like, simple as that. I was like, I'm going to go and dazzle the ladies. I'm going to make them smile. I'm going to make them laugh so much that they're going to forget that what I even look like, right? Because their eyes are going to be closed the entire time that we're talking. So I really took that seriously, and I did it in earnest. And so I was able to capitalize on that, and I never had to look back. I never had to do that again. In fact, I almost forgot that was something that I would do habitually. So there was that. The other thing is anger. I have whips of anger. I get these mood swings and whatever. I want to take responsibility for it because it is me. But at the end of the day, it was a learned habit that I got from listening to family. The way that they communicate was to not communicate, was essentially to yell. And so that was something that I had to get rid of. So what did I do? I went and got a punching bag. I filled it with a bunch of bags of sand and old clothes. And I started hitting that thing as hard as I could for as long as I could. And that really did calm me down significantly. It left me so drained that I didn't really have the energy to want to yell anymore. And yeah, sure enough, sometimes I do get it from time to time. But nevertheless, that really curbed my enthusiasm for wanting to yell. Was doing that because it gave me a respite that I needed. It gave me a place to put my frustration, my anger, my pent up feelings into something that I felt was productive, was timely, was passionate, was beautiful. You know, the sweet science, if you will, of boxing, of the mentality, the spiritual sort of endeavor that took from me. So I say all that to say what? All my bad habits, I looked at them as not problems, but solutions, things that I could solve, things that I could chip away at. And these are just a few of the habits, right? So if you're dealing with some of these habits, just keep in mind that part, right? Is don't focus so much on the problem, but focus on what the solution looks like. And then you can begin to sort of figure that part out, because that is the part that matters most, right? We all have problems. We all have bad habits. We all have things that drain us, that take us away from what we truly are and how far we can get. So I think that's where you got to lay your head at night, is on the solutions part of it. And that's a real good concept that I got from an old knucklehead. And I never forgot that, right? So sometimes you just need a few gems. You know, you don't even need the embodiment of the individual, but a few things that they say that have the power to sway. Anyhow, I hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next one.